But you can get 38% off Dave Canales and Lizzie Canales' book that they wrote together.
Oh.
Titled This Marriage? Question mark?
I still contend that she did most of the writing in this book. I got to believe that that's her idea to write that. I don't think Dave was the one that was like, yeah, let me put the pen to paper on this one and talk about what a man whore I am.
The Question That Changed Everything.
Forward by Tony Dungy, by the way.
Yes, of course.
I find the beginning of that where he wrote, I find it pretty insulting.
Who? What?
Tony Dungy.
What are you talking about? What do you write?
Well, he says, unlike so many couples today.
Oh,
all right.
Taking shots at us.
All right.
Taking shots at everybody else already?
All right,
Come on.
dip-ass. They didn't let their marriage wither away. They wouldn't let it go. All right, Tony. I'm sorry, but if you find out that your spouse, male or female, was cheating before you got married, while you were getting married, after you got married, raw dogging God knows who, and yeah, maybe, just maybe, it's okay at that point to say that I want my marriage to wither away. It's possible. So I just, unlike so many couples today that accept the whoredoms of their spouse and are willing to do whatever it takes in order for their spouse to stop banging whores and get back together with me. What a pompous statement on the part of Tony Dungy. Bye. He said, instead, Dave and Lizzie resolved to get things back on track and rediscover the sense of purpose.
Well, let me tell you what we're talking about here. So Dave Canales is the new head coach of the Panthers.
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to be an NFL head coach.
Yeah. He's a man of the Lord.
He was the offensive coordinator of Tampa. And then, and he spent years in Seattle. Well, when he was in Seattle, he wrote this book, and it is now $9.99, marked down from $15.99 on Amazon Prime.
It's great value right there.
And it's a book he wrote with his wife. Yeah. And it says here that it's a faith-based book about working through problems with his sexual infidelity, addiction to pornography, and binge drinking.
Oh, yeah, don't forget the binge drinking.
So it was written by him and his wife, Lizzie. It details how the 42-year-old coach has worked to overcome his problems, and the couple found its way back to a healthy Christian-based marriage.
That's the key.
So he no longer has issues with infidelity or pornography.
Can I also ask the question?
And he has stopped drinking completely.
Can I ask a question, though? Because they found their way back to a Christian marriage. If he was cheating at his bachelor party, did they ever have a Christian marriage?
Well, I think it was the goal.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I think that was probably, he agreed to a Christian marriage and then strayed from said Christian aspects of Christian marriage.
So he was a position coach with the Seahawks, publishes the book September 2022.
That is not that long ago.
No. And then he went to Tampa. The couple said they wrote the book to help other couples struggling with marriage. They wrote in the preface of the book, we wanted other people to feel safe starting this journey toward a vibrant marriage by helping them see that they are not alone. They said writing the book and reliving the painful details of their past was like going through another round of counseling, but it helped them find renewed healing and hope through a stronger understanding of what happened.
Yes.
Basically,
I got a good understanding of what was happening.
So he made some dark confessions to his wife.
Yeah.
He says a huge part in the severed intimacy that I was experiencing with Lizzie was because, and I don't know how to say this, I was addicted to porn. It was like a gateway drug for me, creating pathways in my brain that allowed me to use sex coldly for my own benefit. It was a secret, silent struggle that I had years before I was married.
I'm not certain that the porn was the big problem here, as it was raw dog and randoms. That seems to be a bigger problem.
He also wrote about how he cheated on Lizzie 1 month before they were married. From the start of our relationship, I was binge drinking and going out with friends without Lizzie. Before I was even unfaithful to her, I was already there in my mind. Bad habits combined with addiction made it hard for me to resist temptation. It was a pattern, and I knew it well before we even started dating. He also describes himself as a recovering narcissist.
Oh, well, that's good. So he's still a narcissist, but he's trying to not be one. He's
Well,
trying to
once a
shed that
narcissist,
narcissism.
always a narcissist.
Yes, yes.
He detailed how he had to work hard at developing the skill necessary to be aware beyond myself and my needs.
It's the biggest one. Got to be aware, guys. Got to be aware.
As for his issues with drinking, he wrote, I quit drinking alcohol altogether, knowing that I do not have a great restraint in that area, and it numbs me to making other poor choices.
It sounds like she married a dirtbag who did whatever he wanted and then eventually got tired of it. That's what's said. Or he was this guy all along and she just then got tired of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's him.
Yeah.
It's just... but I will give him credit. You got to give him credit, man.
I give him credit for like
he stepped up. Yeah, he stepped up. He is awareness is a big thing.
Yes,
and he is aware of what triggered what and how it all worked, and he's better for it. I mean, look, you gotta hand it to the guy.
Sure, I just kind of
didn't have to pen a novel.
I just roll my eyes a little bit at the idea that
It's so true.
No
you
one
don't
made
have
you
to
tell on yourself except for your wife.
That's right.
If
that's right.
Lizzie, right?
Lizzie.
I was asking the question here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna spitball this.
Oh no.
If our roles were reversed and Lizzie goes to Dave, because his whole thing was he said he worked late hours in the NFL.
Yep.
And working
that was part of it.
And working late hours and traveling all that, it leads to, you got
And
time.
again, I get that.
That happens, right? Like, absolutely. But if Lizzie was at home doing what Dave was doing and Dave was in the office working, you think Dave is like, you know what, honey, the Lord wants us to work through this? Or is it possible that Dave maybe calls some names and hits out the door? That's my thing. It doesn't sound like, again, that he was any sort of crazy. Just like you said, he sounds like he was a dirtbag that eventually got tired of being a dirtbag and was like, it's all right. I'm done with my dirtbag ways and I'll stay married. Like, it's just, I find that whole thing to be a bit much for me. And of course, then we're going to lean on it's okay because I was walking with the Lord, even though I was failing, but now I'm really walking with the Lord, and therefore Tony Dungy and everyone else loves me.
Yeah, it's almost like they're pointing at, it's like, look at all these things that weren't my fault that made me horrible.
But now, now it's better.
It's just you. You're just horrible.
Yeah. It's
not that hard.
No, but now they've got a great marriage and everything's fine. And
they've sold some books.
They sold some books and they have a bunch of kids.
So what the key to this is, guys, is if you want a great marriage, do whatever you want before you're married. And then like for the first 7-8 years of your marriage, just whatever, just go at it. Just anything goes. Just throw down and then find Jesus and then write a book and go to counseling, and then Tony Dungy will love you. Did also say in there that his wife, they had to go take a test because Dave wasn't a protection man when he was out there doing whatever he was doing. But again, we're all good now.
Vancouver Ford text line saying it sounds like he was a position coach off the field as well.
Yes, he was. He liked to work with the tight ends. He definitely liked working with the wide receivers. He was very good in that. Solid. He ran a widespread offense. Anything go, sideline to sideline. He covered every inch of the field.
Not so much about the safety as we have discussed.
No. He wasn't a defensive man. He's an offensive coach, right? It's an aggressive attack. It's aggressive. Yeah. Someone asked the Carolina Panthers about it, and they're like, "We're aware, and we won't be talking about it."
A couple of other texts. I have issues with drinks and porn. The issues are their greatness. Thank you, sir.
Well, I mean, look, in all seriousness, I can bag on him. Like you said, good for him.
Yeah, it's good
for putting the brakes on his life, saying, I don't want to live this way. And I mean, I guess good for her if she really wants to be with him and she was able to forgive him and stick it out. And, they got kids and happy now. Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I just,
however you get right, man. Yeah. This one says, wait, isn't hypocritically cheating, boozing it up, and watching porn a Christian-based marriage to begin with? Hey-o! Look at the listeners coming in hot.
Someone saying, is she worth $30 million? She is now.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
This says the couple wrote the book knowing that exposing their painful and highly personal secrets and issues could potentially hinder Canales' ability to land future jobs in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. So
they said their marriage now is stronger than ever, and their belief in God has helped them, discussing the importance of faith and prayer.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Dead serious. If this book helps anyone, good for you. I find the whole thing a giant eye roll, but to some people out there, maybe this is like you read a book and it convinces someone to stop, watching porn or stop stepping out. And
I can't imagine this helps him in the world of football. Do you think the Panthers even knew about that?
Well, they said that they did, and they said they were fine with it, but then they also said there would be no further comment on it. They have to know. I mean, all these things are vetted.
They know now, but
yeah.
I just didn't know if they knew when they hired him.
I would assume so, but I don't understand why you guys are so cynical about this guy's story. Regular people overcome addiction and issues all the time. And they
I'm
get
not.
different people.
I just said that. We just said that.
What are you talking
They
about?
just don't usually
Pay
write books
attention.
about it.
Yeah. Look, I'm rooting for the guy. Good for him. I can also think it's a little silly, but good for him. I'm not here to.
Or like, I mean, you could also think, hey, maybe you keep that stuff in house. You've overcome all that stuff. Maybe you don't need to broadcast it to the world.
Well, we all don't we all try to improve
Yes. And
Yeah,
good
we
for
at
should
all
him.
times?
Yeah.
I'm going to write a book about my improvements.
I'll tell you what, though. That's a
Great
hell
I
of
am.
Start yoga again. With
her
Isaac Roberts, right?
level of forgiveness, like that's a hell of a thing.
That is.
To find out, like from the very get-go, like that woman. You want to talk about someone that's got some grace of God in her, got some Tony Dungy quiet strength. I give that to her. That's a strong woman. But again, if that's what you're looking for, and this helped you find happiness, all anyone should ever want for anyone in this world is to be happy. I say that all the time to my kids, man. This life will kick you in the balls 7 ways till Sunday, right? I mean, it beats you down. Look at how many people are walking around unhappy. So if God or faith or Tony Dungy or writing a book or not writing a book or watching porn or not watching porn, whatever it is that finds you purpose, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you work, and whatever makes you work with another human being, and you guys can find some common ground and raise some kids and put a smile on your face at the end of the day, I'm all for it. Whatever works for you, works for you. But at the same time, I don't have to think that it makes sense, but it doesn't have to make sense to me. If it makes sense to the Canales family, then, Odin bless them.
At one time, porn and booze worked for him.
That's true.
So
I'll bet you back in the day and this is the thing, like, I bet you he was having a great time. I'm not saying that it was like the most productive thing in the world, but I'm guessing if you asked Dave Canales 8 years ago how things are going behind closed doors, he'd be like, yeah, having a great time. But it catches up to you and you get a little older, a little wiser. Maybe you get caught doing something. I don't know.
all right, well, that's the story of the great Dave Canales, forward by Tony Dungy.
Go buy it for less than $10.
Yep, $9.99.